All right, let's just jump right into it. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're going on a seriously fascinating journey. We're going to bridge the cold, mathematical mechanics of quantum physics with, well, the deeply emotional realities of human connection. And we're basing this whole exploration on a brilliantly crafted 2015 poem by MD Jahangir Alam called Mind-Game of Quanta. If you're someone who loves seeing how hard science perfectly mirrors human nature, oh man, you are in for an absolute treat. Let's get into it.
So the source text hooks us literally right out of the gate by jumping straight into the void before existence even happened. It says, before the thought, before the given name, a field of probability became. It's using this concept of a quantum probability field to set the absolute foundation of the universe. Just imagine nothingness, right? But it's a nothingness that is vibrating with pure absolute potential.
Okay, so that brings us to our first major concept, the quantum probability field, focusing on observation and act.
Now, how exactly does this text define quantum collapse? Well, the poem describes this shimmering ghost upon the quantum stage, but the exact moment observation happens, it, quote, locks the gauge. It literally collapses these endless waves of potential into what the author calls particles of fact. It's actually a fundamental principle of quantum mechanics, just presented incredibly poetically, right? The very act of looking, of observation, mathematically locks reality into place. It turns a completely empty void into a real, active universe.
Moving right along, let's look at fission versus fusion, rupture and constant grace.
Okay, let's walk through this sequence because the buildup is intense. Step 1, within that quantum field, a high-energy particle, which is described almost like a desperate plea, tunnels through what shouldn't even be mathematically possible. Step 2, boom, it strikes the core. And step 3, a flash unfurls, quite literally splitting the fabric of the world. The poem calls this chain reaction a terrible, swift flame. It's this violent grace where mass is lost and just sheer destructive power takes its place.
But physics always demands balance. The poem reads, where deuterium and tritium in their need collide. We're pivoting now toward creation. The text uses these specific elemental isotopes to introduce a powerful, totally opposing force to that terrible flame we just talked about.
And that opposing force? That's fusion. It's described here as a stellar forge and a fire never ending. So unlike fission, which literally tears things apart, fusion is where elements bleed together into a heavier, more perfect whole, releasing massive amounts of energy. The text beautifully calls this a pure and constant grace that lights up the darkness of endless space. It's expansive. It's steady. It's creation itself.
And the text just brilliantly sets up this exact duality. On one hand, you have fission, characterized as a cruel divorce, right? A rupture, shattering matter into blame. But then on the other, fusion is the perfect whole, the stellar forge, a constant grace. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that creation and destruction aren't just opposites. They're intimately paired. They're drawing from the exact same fundamental source of energy.
But here's where the text drops a profound paradox on us. This identical stellar energy, yeah, it gives the planets light, absolutely. But it also burns a city, tears a world apart, and melts flesh from sight. It's kind of a staggering realization when you stop and think about it. The exact same fusion fire that lovingly sustains all life in our solar system can also be harnessed as a source of devastating tragedy. Fusion's embrace, fission's cruel divorce, they are born from the exact same atomic rules.
So, let's bring this closer to home. Part 3, the neuromorphic galaxy and the human mind.
The text uses this truly magnificent phrase, a synaptic stormy sea, a neuromorphic galaxy. It beautifully parallels the chaotic, high-energy firing of quantum particles that we just looked at with the intertwined, branching firing neurons of the human mind. Basically, our brain is a parallel process. It's a storm of energy operating like a literal galaxy right inside our own heads.
And here is where it gets deeply, deeply personal. It learns the landscape of its own despair, from the reactor's heart to the atom's flare. This is such a powerful line because it connects those immense physical concepts of nuclear reactors directly to our internal human experience. The human mind literally mirrors the nuclear reactor. We harbor our own internal fissions like our heartbreaks, and our own fusions, our profound connections.
Which leads us to part 4, a game of high design, where we look at choosing our fate.
So to explain this, the poem actually brings in game theory, specifically the Nash equilibrium. The text frames human interaction as this high-stakes game. But it's not played on a simple black and white chessboard. It's played on a manifold curved by mass and light. It's a super fragile state where each player's choice decides their mutual fate. We don't exist in isolation, we exist in a tangled grace. Your choices are directly reflected in the other person's frightened face. In this incredibly complex geometry of human connection, winning isn't simply something you can lose. It's a shared state of equilibrium. You're in it together.
All right, let's tie it all together. Part 5, the entangled synthesis, fusing physics and humanity.
I just love how perfectly this mirrors out. Think about the strong nuclear force that binds an atomic core. The text says that's exactly like a human vow that opens up a door. Quantum's strange entanglement? Well, that's mirrored by two minds that share the selfsame blight. And fission's blast? That's the splitting of the soul. The text so clearly demonstrates how the fundamental physical laws of the universe perfectly, and honestly, tragically, metaphorize our human bonds and breakups. It's a fusion, not of protons, but of hearts.
Which leads us to one very profound, very stark question. What actually is the fundamental particle? I mean, is it a quark? Is it a boson? After exploring the deepest depths of atoms and the vastness of our own minds, what is the ultimate truth sitting at the very bottom of the whole shebang?
Well, here is the poem's incredible breakthrough. It is not a thing, but a relationship, a key. The fundamental particle isn't some microscopic speck of matter at all. It is the conscious player in the galaxy. It's you, and it's me. We are the ones who hold the power to shatter or to bind. The relationship itself, that connection between conscious beings, is the true fundamental building block of reality.
The player and the game are never done. A groundbreaking universe is wrought from absolute nothing. But the final discovery is deeply, deeply poignant. Every fusion carries fission's seed. Think about what that actually means. Every single time we connect, every time we fuse with another human being, the potential for painful fission, for heartbreak, is born right alongside it. We know this connection might destroy us, yet we step onto the board and we play the game anyway. It's the beautiful, tragic necessity of human nature, perfectly mirroring the very fabric of the cosmos. So the next time you look up at the stars, or look across the table at someone you love, ask yourself, are you prepared for the fallout of your own nuclear fusion?